you can do anything you want to do. You're smart enough, you're decent looking, you can do anything you want to do.
Why did you say decent looking?
Because that's where you fall.
I feel like you could say like good looking.
You could say that, but then you'd be lying.
I mean...
Hey, I'm right there with you. You're not alone.
I mean, you were in the same bracket?
Well, I'm ahead of you, but yeah. Because I'm 33. We'll see where you're at 33, buddy, okay? That's all I gotta say.
So there's actual data now on why men have stopped approaching women, and it's not what you think. A recent study showed that 67% of men under 30 say the risk to reward ratio just doesn't make sense anymore. You approach someone, there's a real chance you're labeled creepy, or worse, it ends up on social media. And here's the kicker. Men who stay single report higher life satisfaction scores than they did a decade ago. They're investing in hobbies, friendships, careers. The pressure to pursue relationships, it's just gone for a lot of guys. Like one guy I know tried approaching women at coffee shops, bars, the usual spots, got rejected harshly 3 times in a month. Now he's into rock climbing and honestly seems way more content. It's not about giving up on connection. It's about men recalculating what's worth their energy. And the numbers show they're choosing themselves.
The quiet guys that barely talk anymore are usually the ones that gave their everything to one girl and got left with nothing but screenshots and memories.
Is cleaning, cooking, mindfulness.
Oh my God.
Women are falling for feminist propaganda and don't want to fulfill their roles. Introducing the Hojo.
I don't like that name.
The Hojo is a training facility that will teach women skills to earn a husband. You guys don't like that?
Very condescending.
To all the women disagreeing, you have to say, please address me as sensei.
To all the women disagreeing, you have to address me as sensei.
What the hell? That's kind of insulting to women. I'm sorry.
And to wait really fast, things they will be learning is cleaning, cooking, mindfulness.
Oh my God.
Why are they gagged for?
No, that's mindfulness. It keeps them quiet.
That's not how it is, though.
So let me ask you a question. We go on a date and I'll drop you off and you walk into your house, right? I should always make sure you get in the house, right?
Absolutely.
I should come in too, right? Because listen.
Come on now.
This is a proven fact.
What? Proven fact.
No serial killer will ever kill you on the porch.
They'll kill you in the house.
Exactly. Why can't I come in?
Wait.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Meaning that you need to check the house.
I need going
not
with
the
you.
porch, because generally a serial killer will
They
be
usually
inside
be in the
the
bed,
house.
inside your bed. So when we go home and we go lay down, make sure he's not in the bed.
Marco, you got to get it together.
That is together.
No, I'm telling you, you got to get it together.
Well, yeah, some nurses did cheat at the hospital. I'm not gonna lie.
They put out these reports that saying the #1 cheating.
It's nurses.
It's nurses, yeah. But you were a nurse, so you would know.
But that's because a lot of nurses date doctors. A lot of doctors are married. Not the nurses. It's the doctors that are married and cheating.
Oh my God.
And the nurses date the doctors. Wow. So if you want to be completely honest, I think that's more what I saw a lot of that.
Where? What rooms?
In the rooms, in the lab room, in the medical room, in the equipment room.
Is it like a quick thing, or was it like this is gonna be the whole rundown? Like,
listen, it's just quick, and then they might see each other outside of the hospital, and then act like they don't know each other. But then when it get messy. When they bring it back to the hospital and everybody know their business, that's when it get messy.
God.
Yeah.
Was there nurses that were like, what was the purpose of the nurse hooking up with the doctors? Was it like to level up, or did they just always admire the doctor?
No, I think too, we work with a lot of women. So when they do see a man, they go fucking crazy. I think a lot of nurses are single. So a lot of nurses can really do what they want to do.
Okay.
I think that a lot of my nurses friends, when we was at the hospital, we were single. So it was just like, hey.
I heard that the cheating rate is crazy with nurses.
But what is really cheating, though? Is they married or they got a boyfriend?
Boyfriend? So you don't consider that cheating if it's just a boyfriend?
What kind of boyfriend?
It's fun to stay at the
Not that I'm being nosy, but March, you guys were doing pretty good. And then April came and you guys must have been doing something different. I would just play back the video, do better.
56% of liberal women aged 18 to 29 have literally been diagnosed with a mental health disorder. You know what that means? It means 44% of them haven't been diagnosed with a mental health disorder by a professional. That doesn't mean they don't have one. It just means that they haven't been diagnosed yet. That's all. Yeah, it hasn't happened yet. Only 56%. Yeah, that's how it is, guys. And obviously, that's only the number officially diagnosed. The real number is obviously higher.
Just trust me, you'll be fine.
Good for you. I'm glad you found somebody. But who's the dad of
Damn, bitch, I'm not gonna lie, you might be the problem. And I'm not saying you deserved it. I'm just saying, you know, shit like this doesn't happen by coincidence twice.
Me, 26 female, and boyfriend, 29 male, of 3 years, just had our first baby. We're white, baby is black. I have a close black ancestor, but significant other is furious and accusing me of cheating.
Probably that one. There's more going on there.
There's a lot going on here. As the title says, me and my significant other just had our first baby. We're over the moon when we discovered the pregnancy, and we were both really excited to have a child together. We wanted to get married next year, and everything was going great. We were happy. We both look very white, pale skin, blue eyes, brown and blonde hair. However, my great-great-grandpa was black, and some of his features have popped up here and there in our family. Textured hair, darker skin, more, quote, black-looking facial characteristics. My significant other knows this and has seen some of my aunts, uncles, and cousins who have these features. I don't have any myself, and neither does my mom. Our daughter was born 5 days ago, and I guess she just got all of the dormant genes in me because she's really dark-skinned compared to us with really curly hair. I think she's adorable, but my significant other flipped. He accused me of cheating, that the baby couldn't possibly be his. I've never given him a reason to suspect me of infidelity, and I've certainly never cheated. We argued about it. I pointed at all of my cousins and other relatives who have these features, and he absolutely refused to listen. Said our daughter looked too black for that to be plausible.
Ew.
He stormed out of the hospital, sent me a text an hour later that we were over, and when I got home from the hospital the next day, he wasn't there, and most of his personal belongings were gone. I tried to reach him, but he didn't answer my calls or texts until 3 days later. When he told me, he demanded a paternity test to prove that I was a liar.
And I bet it came back correct.
And if I refuse, I'll never see him again.
I feel like I would get the test just to shove it in his face.
I'm completely broken down and hurt over this. Our entire relationship, he's been so sweet and rational. This is completely unlike him. If he had just calmly asked for a paternity test to begin with, I would have been hurt, but I guess I could have understood the concerns. Our daughter looks nothing like him. But I don't think our relationship can survive this, even when I proved to him I wasn't lying. Should I go through with the test or just cut my losses here and raise her alone? So we do get an update.
Thank God.
Okay, so the update, I think, from what it was, is the paternity test confirmed the baby is his. The boyfriend had a breakdown and admitted he'd been heavily influenced by his mother, who had been telling him the poster was cheating on him and beneath him. He apologized, cried, and asked to come back home. She didn't fully take him back immediately. She set conditions. You have to go to couples therapy, consistent communication. He stayed elsewhere for now, and his mother must apologize in person and gets no access to the baby until then. They agreed to try repairing the relationship, but she said trust was badly damaged and she wasn't sure she could fully forgive him. The problem I have with this... Okay, hold on. Okay, so it's about 10 years ago that this happened. So people were saying, obviously, the kid would be 10 now. The issue that I have with this is she's saying if he would have asked nicely, then I would have, first of all, I need to see what she looks like. If she has a hint of melanin in her skin, right? Because it is possible. Just, if you ever go to Louisiana, you see, you'd be thinking that you're looking at somebody that's white, but they're actually black, right? You're looking at it, you're like, no, can't be, but they're black. like they're light skinned, they would pass as white, but they're black. Darn near, like their hair it's like a white person's hair would be, but the more you look at it, you're like, no, that's got some black in there. Like she's got some black, or he's got some black in there somewhere. Like it's just the way they do their hair, or whatever the sunlight got to hit them just right, or they got to be in the right conditions to be like, you are black. So, I can see the confusion there. But like I said, the issue I have with this is, I don't know in this situation. Well, it makes sense to me. What she's saying is, well, it makes sense to me because, my great grandfather is black. So I might have gotten, some genes that were dormant in me and given them to the baby. Well, yeah, I think in that situation, if both of y'all are white and the baby's black, then yeah, like you'd probably need to do a paternity test. Well, I've never cheated. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I really do understand that. But if it's that drastic, and that's what I'm saying, what does the baby look like? How dark are we talking versus how dark are you? That's what I'm saying. Do you have a little bit of melanin in your skin? Is the baby like dark, like from Sudan, or is the baby like chocolate? It's like, okay, well, you've got a little bit of melanin. The baby's, a little bit darker. You could get there. But if it's a drastic change, that's where the problem comes in. And I think that's where a lot of men become uncomfortable with that. Well, ask nicely and I'll give you a paternity test. Why don't you just get one? Why don't you y'all always say that y'all want men to be proactive and take initiative. Why don't you just take initiative and get one? Just to make sure, because, they might have handed us the wrong baby. You never know. Let's get one. Women they're always wanting men to go above and beyond to make them feel comfortable. Why would you not do this? Just take the initiative to make him feel comfortable and certain about it. Right? Well, he shouldn't have blown up. He shouldn't have done that, and this, that. He shouldn't have been listening to his mom. I think his mom was pouring more gasoline on the fire than needed to be. But yeah, I think, communication, I think is what they were saying, actually. Yeah. Consistent communication. Yeah. Y'all need more communication. Like you need to communicate more as well in terms of, hey, this looks weird. How about we tackle it like this?
Having a child is becoming an unpaid Uber driver for someone who doesn't want to go to karate and hates you anyway. And it's hard work.
That is a narrative that I'm going to push back on, which is part of the problem, which is that it's the narrative of misery, which has been promoted. And it's not miserable to have children. It's joyful. It's the most incredible love you'll ever experience in your life, but it's also really hard. And I think we have a bunch of pussies, actually. We are producing women and men who are pussies, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. They cannot deal with discomfort. They cannot deal with frustration. They cannot deal with sacrifice or hardship or responsibility. They want it to be easy. Who said raising children was easy? You don't get the good stuff unless you put in the work. And it's the same if you're out in the world. Of course it's easier to go to a job than it is to stay home with a child, because a child demands more of you, but it also gives back more.
Uber driver is crazy though. I mean, she's right. You don't want to make a commitment. You don't really want to do anything. Just lazy. Lazy.
In your mind, you really think that most women are able to just sexually perform several times a day, every day?
I heard coming up that I can lay down longer than you can stand up.
Oh, who told you that?
I mean, it's a saying I heard coming up.
Oh, dear.
What does the plan look like based on what you guys have shared today? Because Kimmy needs more time and connection and those things.
It's not gonna happen, Doc.
Why are you saying it's not going to happen?
That's the space. But that's the space. That's why we're here.
Is that what you're feeling? Energy. Like if we when he says that, that's frustrating to me.
But he said it
because
for a reason.
It's a negative thought, and it doesn't perpetuate positivity in that space.
I see where you're coming from, Doc, but You know, I mean, if you're doing it several times a day, you got to believe that she's going to be sore at some point in time. So, I mean, every day, I don't know if the body has a capacity for that. I mean, Jesus.
I know some people will think that I cheated on a room that had my fiance in it to go find this other guy for no reason. I just wanted to be in the same room with this other guy over my fiance. Bad, red flag. If you're ever in that situation and you want to be in a room with somebody else more than your own fiance, bleh. No, get rid of that. Not a good situation. The crazy part, here's the funny part, my fiance was in the play with us.
Hypothetically, how annoyed would you be at your husband if hypothetically he thought he registered your high school children?
Hypothetically, have you thought about the fact that maybe you shouldn't be sharing your marital issues online with the whole world to see and throw in their judgment? Hypothetically, have you thought about the impact that might have on your marriage? And hypothetically, have you thought about the fact that most relationships fail because women don't know how to shut their mouth and keep their problems to themselves because they always want to share it with everyone else? Hypothetically, maybe you should talk to your husband, maybe you should forgive him, and maybe you should understand that you need to forgive him 1,000 more times if you want your marriage to actually work out for the rest of your lives like you guys decided to at the altar, just the way he has to for you. So hypothetically, take this down, talk to him about it, and maybe next time if you didn't like the way he handled things, you do it yourself the way he does things that you can't do yourself. Okay?
So many guys will do this where like they want to be a good guy.
Yep.
They don't want to be a bad guy. But instead of like nutting up and doing the hard thing and sitting you down and being like, something shifted, I don't have feelings anymore.
Yep.
They just like slowly take away affection over the course of months. So then that way you turn into this like depressive, paranoid Nancy Drew.
Yeah.
And like you have to put together that they don't love you anymore. And then you have to be the one to like start the breakup conversation. And it's like, not only did you stop loving me, but you made me like end us too. Because like
Totally.
you had the answers like 4 months ago and you kept it to yourself.
The reality is that so many guys would rather destroy themselves than destroy the relationship. The last thing he wants is for things to fall apart. I don't know if these ladies take this into account, but when a marriage fails, it is the men that lose everything. They oftentimes lose the home, their money. They only get to see their kids on the weekends. And then because of women making videos like this, they get made out to be the bad guy. So a man will destroy himself on the inside before he'll destroy the relationship. And the problem is, as he's destroying himself to keep it together, he starts to feel resentful and angry. And instead of her taking accountability and saying, what can I do to help him? She simply deems him the a-hole. And too often, both sides look at the other person as they're getting angry and bitter and disrespectful. And instead of thinking, what can I do to make them better? Instead of reflecting and asking ourselves, am I the reason they have become this person? Am I the problem here? Because something you need to understand in a marriage and a relationship, if things don't work, it's both of your faults. So instead of constantly blaming the other person for how they're acting or reacting to you, both parties need to look inward and say, how is what I'm doing, how I'm treating them, affecting the way they are right now? How can I help my team be better? If you can both be in that mindset simultaneously, that is when things work. But all too often, we're all in the mindset of, he's got to change, she's got to change. If they just did this for me, I would be happy. I wouldn't be this way. And that's just a vicious cycle because we can only control ourselves. And if one or the other person isn't willing to take responsibility, to change, to grow themselves, to be better, if both of you are not doing that and you're simply blaming each other for your struggles and your unhappiness, then you are completely doomed.
As soon as I found out about it, I terminated both of them immediately. One of the things I've gotten so much criticism of online was when I publicly shared a TikTok about firing somebody because I found out that she was cheating on her significant other and the other person also had a significant other. And as soon as I found out about it, I terminated both of them immediately.
Wait, someone was cheating with someone in the company?
Yeah.
Oh, and they both had partners?
Both had partners outside of the company. As soon as I caught wind of it, it wasn't even like a split second decision. I can't have this in my environment, especially somebody close around me. People trust me and should trust any leader to help them make their success easy.
One would say that's none of your business what they're doing when they go home.
Not to get into specifics of the particular event, but it happened to be around work.
But if it wasn't at work, you still wouldn't.
Even if it was, I would fire the person immediately.
So you'd fire someone for cheating?
If they're going to cheat on the person that they're supposed to spend the rest of their life with, do you think that they're cheating on their work? That person is a liability to the environment.
People have things in their personal life which are very different to the way that they show up professionally, though. People do all kinds of things in their personal life.
It's terrifying.
I don't consider that to be my business.
Oh, it's absolutely my business. If somebody has a problem in their personal life, they're the same person that shows up to work.
Listen, the way that I see it is if I expand the scope of my concerns, I'm going to get fucking nothing done. I don't want to be the government of your fucking personal situations as well. As long as it doesn't show up in the office.
I can't bifurcate and put in two separate buckets what somebody is doing at home and think that what they're doing at home and the confusion and the distraction isn't going to bleed over into our environment. And I would be willing to bet, and curious on your perspective of this, those people that you found out where there are different situations and different problems in their personal life, they actually do show up in their work.
This girl is brilliant.
Teenagers in the 1950s had higher-pitched, perky, breathy voices that signaled they were squeaky clean and conformed with traditional family values. Post-World War II prosperity had created a generation with disposable income and leisure time, which had never really happened before, and sure does explain an awful lot.
By the 1960s, teens were either partying on the beach or really into counterculture, man. It reflected two distinct responses to social upheaval. Either living in a bubble of upper-middle-class wealth or rebelling against the status quo by embracing far-out but groovy ideas like peace and love.
This one had a tougher, more jaded, grittier delivery that showcased a world weariness, disillusionment, and a loss of innocence due to counterculture failing to change society. Nobody was trying to be good or revolutionary. They were either trying to survive or embracing disco hedonism.
Like the 80s, or more like specifically like the Reagan era, you know? Brought back like conspicuous like consumption. So we like have money and like perform vapidity as like a form of privilege. Like we're rich again and like safe. So we're like just going to act like nothing bad ever happened, you know? Like I'd never wear anything that wasn't like brightly neon or suggested I didn't go to prep school. Like gag me with a spoon.
This was a weird decade because Gen X was still materialistic and largely privileged, but self-aware and ironic. The vocabulary from the 80s was still there, but they said whatever with an eye roll instead of a giggle, and the rise of alternative culture and grunge in response to events like the fall of the Berlin Wall showed that they rejected the superficiality of the 80s, which created a sense of aimlessness and detachment, but genuine care.
Post 9/11 America saw a return to superficial concerns after brief unity, and reality TV largely shifted the tone from sarcastic 90s speak to vocal fry, which was often used to sound more authoritative and professional, which I think is interesting to note did happen after so many girls and women were criticized for using uptalk. The shift from vocal fry performance to authentic vulnerability reflected the maturation of social media and growing backlash against fakeness. Teen girls stopped trying to sound like reality stars and started trying to just sound like themselves. The 2008 financial crisis and Occupy movements also created class consciousness that made conspicuous consumption less appealing, and then film moved from glossy productions to more indie aesthetics. Get ready with me while I explain the shift from authentic vulnerability to hybrid performance that reflects the generation's unique position as digital natives who've seen all previous iterations of teen culture archived online and can literally consciously choose elements from each era, as well as just hijack any words they like from AAVE and the drag community. So the isolation that was experienced in 2020 made online identity primary. So now we have speech patterns represented that are simultaneously hyper-aware and genuinely expressive. They simultaneously embrace and mock all previous teen girl stereotypes, so they're in on the joke while also sincerely participating.
A man pulls up to me yesterday in his car and he goes, "Excuse me, are you married?" I go, "No." "Do you have a boyfriend?" I go, "No." He says, "Are you looking for a boyfriend?" And while it took me about 4 seconds to think about what to respond, he goes, "Am I not your type?" And looks-wise, he was totally beautiful, by the way. Here's what I said. I am only open to the type of men who embody that warrior presence, who have done their inner work, who have done their healing, and also who have something to bring to the table. I told him I'm a single mom and I'm not looking for someone to give them more of my energy, but I would love someone who has something to bring to the table. And so then I go, is that you? And he goes, oh no, that's not me. I'm like, okay. Are you working towards that though? And he goes, yeah, I kind of am. So I told him, drive by again when that is you.
In the comments said, I'll take things that did not happen for $500, Alex. Listen, you know what? I feel like modern women sit up here and try to think of these one-liners to say instead of just having a genuine conversation.
Like the civil rights movement. Black people should have equal rights. What's the difference between a woman and a black person?
What?
It's just a matter
Wait a minute.
of...
I'm sorry. We gotta just pause just based off of what was just said. Shout out to Maggie, the substitute teacher, the lovely young lady that's over here on the right. Absolutely a inductee into the MTR Hall of Fame. I actually met Maggie in person. She cooked me a delectable meal. Nevertheless, the look on her face is somewhere in the realm of shock, awe, and I can't believe that she just said that, right? Yeah, so, but shout out to Maggie. She's lovely. She's probably thinking of a nice, modest, and feminine way to try to explain this in a better fashion. But pay attention what happens right after this. Let's replay it again and then let's go.
Actual enemy here, not feminism. Feminism was just a human rights movement, like the civil rights movement. Black people should have equal rights. What's the difference between a woman and a black person?
Look at the responses.
It's just a matter of, no, you want equal rights.
You know, let some of these ladies tell it. Let some of these women tell it. They'll be telling you, and they'll have you believe that what they went through was worse than slavery. You can sit up there and be like, hey man, but you know, they were out there beating on them. You know, they didn't beat on us. Not physically, they didn't, but they beat us with their words. You know, you can't imagine. You can't imagine the pain and the horror and the shock that coursed through my body when he said, put down that donut and pick up a weight. You can't imagine the horror and the shock when he told me, maybe you should do less talking and more listening. I was appalled. The audacity to tell me to have some sort of discipline.
Anytime I get involved with a man, I just threaten them. I'm like, okay, you don't act right, I'm gonna drop your name, age, location on my TikTok.
Honey, maybe that's why they don't treat you right. In fact, they're more likely to treat you like trash, honey, after that, because you're acting like trash.
Women and men should be held to completely different cheating standards. If you're a girl, you're allowed to cheat on your boyfriend, but I think that guys should never be allowed to cheat.
This is the kind of sick, twisted double standard that they actually believe now.
His money is my money. My money is my money.
Yeah. Who the hell dates these women? Who in their right mind would give these women time?
Every man I meet is guilty until proven innocent.
A guy says like one thing that's not even a fraction of this bad and he gets banned. Secondly,
whoa!
Look at this piece, you guys. Chicago sausage.
That's
so thin. Are you kidding me?
I think you're the Michael Jackson. Ian and Kai's. Jensen Beach, Stuart, Florida.
Venison, baby. Look at this.
Hold it
Look
straight.
at this. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Venison, baby. Then is so in. With the Chicago sausage.
That's for us, right? Because everyone's like, you're touching the pizza, blah, blah, blah.
We're taking this home. We're taking it home.
Listen, man, I've been seeing commercials for this stuff. And obviously their marketing strategy and their the way they get people to view their stuff is because of the woman. That's all fine and dandy. But is anybody got a bead on the pizza? Is the pizza good? Is it worth it? I don't want to hate on the brother because it looked like he's trying to make a little bit of money. I just want to know how it tastes. Like, seriously. Let me know.
I'm about to be very direct because there are some of you out there that really need to hear this. Some of you women are becoming the exact same type of monsters that you claim to despise. Because let's think about it. There are some women out there who are claiming that men are not as intelligent as women, that they are inherently emotionally weaker. They do not have as many strengths as some women do, which I might point out is almost the exact same thing that some men have been doing to women for thousands of years. And yet some of you are actually of the mistaken belief that it's going to end well, that it's going to turn out that men are suddenly going to realize the error of their ways and start treating women as true equals. What exactly is wrong with some of you? Did you actually think this part through? Because instead of approaching the problem with understanding, a good knowledge of the situation, and an actual knowledge of the history of everything that it has gone on, not to mention knowing what the cycle of oppression actually looks like, some of you just dive right into being the monsters, the very same type of monsters that you claim to hate. So tell me, exactly what good is that doing?
I'm getting sick and tired of you pranking me about this booger in my nose. I hate this type of joke. That's an American thing. That is not a Trinidad thing, and that is not my type of humor.
I don't know where you come from, but the environment I come from, we keep our hands to ourselves.
So I can't do this?
So what I'm gonna tell you is, stop. You're gonna try to get a wreck? Keep your hands to yourself and watch your tongue. Because I can literally pull over right now and you'll be taking an Uber for the rest of the ride home.
You're not gonna do that to me.
Hey.
No, I'm gonna give you a serious hit.
Yeah. About to get off right here.
No, I'm not getting off
Yeah.
right here. Bilal, you have to be a madman to stop and decide to do it like this.
Yeah, this is the highway.
Just because I give you a little tap.
Yeah. You thought I was joking.
Imagine getting home from work and telling your husband you don't want to cook anything, and instead of saying, well, let's go get dinner, he says, don't worry, I'll make something.
He's addressing the issue. And you don't have to cook. And you're saving money. Where's the loss in that?
This car will stop the bad guys right in their tracks.
Why is the bad guy black?
That's a great question, Richard.
We'll switch it to somebody else next time. We'll keep moving.
Yeah, he could have had on a hoodie with a face mask.
I think we still would have known. Justin, this is you.
It also has a handprint scanner that only you can unlock.
See, now that's cool. That way you wouldn't have to worry about losing your keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It stops bad drivers from driving your vehicle.
No.
For crying out loud.
It stops every bad driver from driving your car.
Why is he autistic?
He's Down syndrome, not autistic.
So, I mean, this is just a basic security check because obviously he didn't put his hand on the scanner, so...
Well, that's obvious because Justin, it looks like he has a grilled cheese between the scanner.
Being under 6 foot! If you call a guy gay and they're offended. When they don't pay for your food!
Sleeps with their socks on.
If he's in a f***ing frat, he gets a notification on his phone and hides it from you. He likes Clash Royale.
They don't make their bed in the morning. Is when he only texts you at 2 a.m.
Golden Goose sneakers on a man. No career aspirations.
If you have one earring. Someone who throws trash out their car window when they're a mama's boy.
Skinny jeans, balding hairline, Golden Goose sneakers, high ankle socks. A guy who's in aerospace engineering. Any guy in finance.
Construction management. Oh my God! Wait, construction management.
When they're from Indiana, they're like angry and mean. Hot take, Nike Dunks. Especially the Carolina Blue Nike Dunks fade.
Or the pandas. Carolina Blues, pandas.
I guess someone who is selfish. It's dishonesty. Be honest if you want a relationship or not. Socially conservative. Skinny jeans with rips in them. Drives a 2-seater Mercedes. Someone that doesn't care about their future. A mama's boy. He's upstairs at Harry's right now.
And as you can see, these women out here are on their worst behavior, their absolute worst behavior with these some of them are valid, but these arbitrarily stupid standards.
Why do they always do the hand thing, referring to this little henpeck gesture that girls have been making with their hands? And I thought I'd bring you the answer. Here it is. So the hand thing that the TikTok girls are doing is the hands are closed and pointed at you. And it means you better listen to me. I am telling you. This is what you believe now. It doesn't matter what I do. It matters what I get, even if I'm not earning it. And someone else can make up for what I'm not doing, even if he doesn't get anything. So then they vote to get, even if they're not earning it. And then when they're getting equal or greater, then they think they're better than you, which makes you icky. And then all the women are looking for a tiny few men. And then no one gets married and has kids, and everyone hates each other. That's why I want you to look for things like the bird hands. This is all about giving instructions. This is what we believe now. And they're trying to make you simp, and you can't do it because you lose. We all lose. Bird hands are a sign of desperation. You don't have to be forceful if you're actually in control. So when you see women doing this, they're saying, this is what you have to agree with, or you're not in the club. And you don't want to be in the club.
It's pretty much it. Women have been watching too much TV, and they think that what they say matters more than what the man says. They think because they use all of these hand gestures, they get loud, they start cussing and screaming and hollering, that a man is going to be listening to that.
Tech, feminism, or low gas prices?
I guess low gas prices, because ever since the feminist movement, it's been a lot harder for me to find a guy to pay my bills. And all of a sudden I have to work and I have to do all these things. And I honestly don't want to work. I would rather stay in the kitchen.
She said it, not me. This is why so many of us need to show appreciation for the men that do that. Because we now know how hard it can be. Especially when it's a job you don't really like and you're stuck there for at least 40 hours a week. But unfortunately for her, I feel like a lot of men are not going back to how it was before. Especially now that things are easier as far as cooking and cleaning goes. It doesn't take as much work to upkeep a house, thanks to the technology we have. And with the cost of living being so high, you kind of need the extra income. But yeah, we got what we asked for. We wanted this, so this is what we have. Personally, I have no issue with it. I do like the idea of people being able to choose, though. I would love to see more stay-at-home dads as well.
Regardless of how non-traditional the woman is, women still enjoy traditional treatment. Now, from a bird's eye view, that's fucking bullshit. Even completely feminist, liberal, progressive women, a lot of them still insist on men holding up their end of the deal when it comes to traditional gender roles. My position is men should not be chivalrous to a woman unless she's a lady. Now, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to attack you guys. But the reality is, if you're a worker, you're not a lady. We got some girls here. I'm sure you guys get asked out by men. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to pay for the date and open the car door and be a fucking simp and do all this shit. I understand you might get it. I think it's unfair to expect it given your own position. So by virtue of you guys being workers, I don't think you should expect or you deserve chivalry.
So because we're workers,
Correct.
We deserve less.
You could frame it that way, I suppose.
Okay. Excuse me.
Yes,
Can you stand up? Get the out of my studio.
Really?
Yes, you're too annoying to have a conversation with. I am not kidding. I want to make him a budget, and I hope it works. No, she's gone. Here, babe. I can't have a conversation with her. I want you to have a budget, and you can communicate this to her, or she can watch this back. So 2,000 is average. Yeah?
Hold on, that kind of mixed me up.
For rent, utilities,
can
and all
I
the
just
good
explain it? So $1,600 for the rent, then you got the light bill is going to be $3 something.
Phone bill?
Phone bill is a $200.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I would definitely do. Once your phone is paid off, it's just a third-party phone service that is the same towers as T-Mobile.
And that's
the phone bills have to be paid off.
That's what I was doing before.
I look over at my boyfriend and I say, I want steak. So guess where we went? Today, I get back from my nail appointment. I look over at my boyfriend and I say, I want to go to the mall. Guess where we're about to go?
I love that you're appreciating your man for this, but I hate the don't settle for bare minimum men or whatever the heck. All men are different. All men have different capabilities. And just because he doesn't jump at everything that you ask for doesn't mean he's bare minimum, doesn't mean the man doesn't love you. Too often we see like very rigid videos like this where he has to do this, this, and this. Otherwise, he doesn't love you. Otherwise, he's bare minimum. Every relationship has different needs and expectations in the relationship. And it's important that, like her, she communicates what she wants. Perfect. You have some understanding and grace if he's not fulfilling every need. I mean, if he started demanding stuff nonstop, would you realistically be able to fulfill all those needs? Probably not. That's worth considering. And I know it sounds like common sense, but the reality is a lot of people don't operate in their relationships that way. They become super toxic and demanding without any appreciation, and then they wonder why it fails.
What is the worst thing an ex has done to you?
Nothing, honestly. My ex has actually been really good to me.
What's the worst thing you did to an ex?
I cheated.
I beg your pardon?
Because he accused me of cheating, so I decided I was actually gonna go do it.
Come on now, dog. Who did you cheat with?
A lot of people.
How many people?
Maybe 4 or 5.
Come on, man.
He never found out. I was slick with it. I was slick.
Maybe your father didn't spend enough time with you. Maybe your mother didn't spend enough time. You didn't get the type of attention from your parents.
A single middle school teacher, and there's another male at the school that's around your age and is also single. Sometimes your students try to play matchmaker. Please look at the note they gave me that was supposedly from the other male teacher my age. What do you guys think? Do you think it's really from the single male teacher, even though there's spelling errors and grammar problems? Or do you think my students wrote it for him? Love middle schoolers.
I think it's their way of saying maybe you should take notice of all of the blessings around you. They'll sit up here and say there ain't no good men, but there are men right in front of you that maybe you should talk to. Here, we'll get the ball rolling.
So if you guys haven't seen this video is talking about how this gentleman had to lose his entire relationship with a little girl he found out wasn't even his. The child, the little girl he thought was his daughter the whole time, he finds out is not his. I'm gonna let you think about that for a second. This is why I fully support mandatory DNA tests. I don't give a fuck anymore. This is why it's so important to understand why this needs to happen. I don't think this is ever talked about enough of what this shit does to a man's mental when they find out this whole time they've been raising a child that is not theirs. Did you also know that over 20% of child support happens with a child that doesn't even belong to the father? And no one ever talks about that. No one ever talks about that. And there are some states that just look at, like, we're talking like there are some states that the judge will look at you, will look at the father, and even if finding out later in that child's life that he finds out that the child's not his, the judge is going to sit there and say, well, I don't give a fuck, you're still going to pay. Do you guys realize how fucked up that is? And I hear too many women sit there and complain saying, well, why would you get a DNA test? It's your baby. That's not the point. Do you not see the bigger picture here? You let your entire ego get the best of you because you want to fucking bitch and moan about how you think it's wrong that a man should get a DNA test. Like, that's not how that works. There are too many men that are paying for a child that's not theirs, probably still paying for a child that's not theirs, and they are raising a child that's not theirs because you wanted to go ahead and open your legs up to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that and do this dumb shit. And a lot of the times, women are doing this shit for the dumbest reason. Oh, he was working too much and I felt lonely. Oh, he wasn't working enough and the other guy has more money. Or because I'm not happy. Or because I just wasn't getting any attention. And so in the end, you make the world's biggest mistake and you still make the man have to pay for it by not telling him. That is like, honestly, you should go to jail for that. I think women should go to jail for that. That's just my opinion on it, okay?
You hate capitalism, but you serve it. You would rather serve capitalism than serve your man. The man that was put here to protect you.
Yeah, but does your man make enough money so that you don't have to work? This is my thing. These are, if we're talking about family units, these are two people, they get to decide what happens in their unit. And reality is some men are not going to be able to provide all that they can. Talk about pressure. I feel like feminism was good for men because it kind of relieved them of a little bit of pressure.
It lifted everybody up.
Well,
Yeah,
but
it's made men so much more depressed than ever. It's made them weaker.
I think they just don't like the fact that now they see, oh, women can be as good as us because now that we're allowed to have all these rights,
Why do you have to be as good as men? Why do you have to be?
Because we live in their world. And I'm saying because we live in this world with them where they are suppressing us. Their bar is up here. If our bar gets lifted, so does theirs. Our bar gets lifted, so does theirs.
Why do women need to be less than men?
Yeah.
Women are not less than men. They're different from men. We provide equal value, but we're different.
I just don't understand what the problem is and why you guys are trying to be men. Wait, is that the only role?
We're not trying to be men.
Wait, no, is that the only role we play though, as mom? That's it? No, I just threw a role, like, you know what I mean? I just threw a role out there that man cannot fill.
I think I'm the most masculine one here. I'm not trying to be a man. I'm just more questioning like what is being a woman? Like what is that going to look like for me? And it's not that I think that I'm better than men. It's just like even just saying like men are more logical. It's like I think men have been taught that their emotions are logic.
You see households that are led by women and versus single households that are led by men. Men do a better job raising children by themselves.
You don't get to
single households led by women are creating YNs that are in the black community. Women do that, okay? Men provide structure. They provide discipline. And that's within the woman, too.
So men sound like great mothers.
I wanted to say something with respect to the lesbian because I can't identify. But I think the flaw with feminism is the expectation that we are supposed to be the same at all. I think we understand and we appreciate we are not better or worse. We are not equal. We are equal value, but we're very different. And I think there's a natural biology that often gets overlooked, especially if you've raised boys, you will see from the womb, they are just different. And I think when we try to put them together and say, anything you can do, I can do better, we're setting ourselves up for failure.
I agree with you that I think the sexist, honestly, the men versus women sex thing, I think it's silly. I think these traits, human traits are human traits. Some were nurtured more in this person, some were nurtured. Like my dad being a stay-at-home dad, he was much better mother than my mother was. I am so sorry, Mom, if you see this. But he just was. He was a better mom than she was. And sometimes that's the case. Forget the gender role stuff and like, these are all human traits. You either are a gentle, nurturing, organized person who wants to take care of a kid or you're not. And that doesn't go man, woman, that goes person.
Find me the society of women that are doing it by themselves.
I would love to see it.
Exactly, it doesn't exist.
Why though?
Because we are not able to sustain it. We live in a safe, civil society because the men have made an agreement amongst themselves to not blow it all up.
Once again, I don't think modern women really understand what a masculine man looks like. So they're not going to know or even understand the value of a masculine man because they don't understand it. When you say, hey, this is what a man does for you. Oh, well, I can do this, 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 and this. They minimize what a man is actually doing until a man is not there. And then all of a sudden they're having problems doing it. And that's when they have to go back in there and call their dad to come over there and do it for them because they can't do what they thought they could without a man.